Yes, I'm still here. Hi. Let's see. We do not have Madison. I know we don't have Sarah. We'll give Madison a minute before we get started. Here's a thing probably none of the four of you will care about, but I said I'd say it anyway. Miss Sale, who is my English department colleague, is doing a poetry slam with her English 1 students, so that'd be like 8th and 9th grade, next Thursday, and wondered if any older students or faculty would want to participate in that if you write poetry. And I don't know if any of you do. If you do, that's cool. I'm probably going to read something, and I have at least another couple of upperclassmen who said that they would read something. The way that would work would be it's during 1st, 3rd, and 7th periods. So you would probably just miss the first like 10 minutes of your classes those days, so that you can go to her Zoom and read your poems. And if it's this class, then I suppose I also miss 10 minutes. So I guess we'll have to work on next Friday. I'm not sure, or next Thursday. I don't know exactly how I'll do that yet. But obviously with like 8th and 9th graders, they're a little hesitant to read their stuff out loud, and they like don't want to be embarrassed or like be vulnerable in front of anyone. So she was like, if you have older kids who would like to read and like feel confident about it, that would probably also like help the little one's confidence a little bit more. So if you're interested in that, let me know, or you can even email her and let her know. But she's going to email teachers to let them know that some kids will be missing classes, or at least part of classes. Okay, so a few things we're going to do today, and most of our time this week, honestly, is going to be used for you guys to finish your essays. But we have a couple things I want to talk about today. The first thing is the CAPS quiz, which I know like none of you guys have attempted yet, and that's totally fine because you've got next week to work on those too. But I did kind of want to go through some of the questions with you. I think I mentioned I do not have the ability to see the passages that things are based off of, which is really dumb and like not helpful to me. But I can see what the questions are, and because of that, I can see some of the things that y'all might have some issues with. So the way it looks it's a little bit different because it's like divided into several different pages, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 5 passages that you'll look at. So for the first one, it asks you to identify the thesis of the passage. I would think that that would be fairly easy for you guys to do. It asks you, this is kind of some like AP style, multiple choice sort of thing. In the second paragraph, this particular word means, and you have to figure out what it means. This one, I can't see the whole question. The third one's just like a comprehension question. According to the text, students who earn a lot, A, B, or C. It's one of those things that, like, without the paragraph, I don't have an easy time of telling you how to do it, but it's just comprehension. For the second paragraph, or the second passage you'll have to look at, this one asks which of the following is not a topic sentence used in the passage. We don't really focus a lot on topic sentences just because I get very wary of giving you guys too much structure. But most of you are like fluent and fluid enough writers to where you don't really have to worry too much about like topic sentence, all these things, transition, new topic sentence. You just have it down by now so that you don't really have to do that so much. But just keep in mind, the topic sentence usually is the first sentence of the paragraph, usually. Then it asks you the relationship between between sentences, like what's the relationship of the second sentence in the paragraph to the first sentence. So, I mean, like a lot of these actually are sort of AP-ish, but I think they're on the easier side of AP-ish. What's the relationship of the last 2 sentences to the first? So again, relationship sentences. The third passage you'll have to look at, the first one is about organization. This passage is mainly organized as like defining, comparing, listing, contrasting, those kinds of things. There's one about the author's implications. There's another one about the author's implications. So fourth paragraph or fourth passage starts doing more about citations. It should include an in-text citation for which of the following situations. One is about a works cited page. It's very easy. That one is very easy. Which of the sources cited in the paper would not require page numbers in the in-text citation? So I would assume that that is like an electronic medium or something that doesn't necessarily have page numbers. And then the final passage that you'll look at, I'm glad that we're here because I don't know if we've used the phrase or the term signal phrase a lot, but it's going to ask you which sentence contains a signal phrase. Any ideas what a signal phrase is? No ideas. Okay, totally fine. You do actually know what it is. You just don't know that it's called a signal phrase. A signal phrase would be when, rather than just quoting a thing and putting the last name and page number in parentheses, you introduce it, usually using the author's name. So for example, Grace McClellan, educator and English teacher at Allegro Charter School, says in her essay that, and then I say the quote, and all that stuff about me and who I am and what I wrote, that's your signal phrase. Does that make sense? Okay. And then the last question on it is about correct MLA citation. like on a works cited entry. So hopefully none of that will be too difficult for you. Honestly, I think that those that are more on the AP style will probably be more difficult because they take more critical thinking about like relationships between sentences and stuff like that, and authors' implications. But the good news, as I've said before, is that you get like 10 tries to do this. And if you go through it and answer all 14 questions and you only get 7 right, then the 7 that you got wrong will be all you have to do on your second opportunity. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Okay. I just want to talk to you guys for a few minutes about some essay related things. As you know now, it's due on Thursday night. So we're closing in. It's crunch time. So one thing that you can do is, like I've said, meet with the tutor of the Writing Center, and I'm going to kind of set aside tomorrow for that. You guys indicated at the end of last week that maybe if we did one day set aside for you to do meetings or, email with the Writing Center or whatever, that would be helpful. So tomorrow we will not meet on Zoom. That's an opportunity for you to set up a meeting or something. The other thing that you can do, which doesn't get you any of that 5% credit for doing your meetings and stuff with the Writing Center, but would still be useful, is to send it to me and let me take a look at it and tell you some stuff that you might want to fix before you submit it. And if you do that, if you send it to me and I give you feedback, it'd be a very silly idea not to listen to the feedback, because I'm giving you specific things that you should do in order to get the highest grade possible on something that I am grading. So I should know. That being said, keep in mind that this curriculum is not mine. It's, I didn't pick these assignments. I didn't pick the readings. I didn't pick any of this stuff. So I'm a little bit more limited in what I can do and like how much grace I can give you, honestly. If you're not doing well or if you're not working up to your usual standards, I'd love to wink and be like, oh, well, this kid knows what he's doing. Let me give him an extra 5 points anyway. I really can't do that. As you see on the description of the assignment, it shows you specifically, this is what an A paper looks like. This is what a B paper looks like. This is what a C paper looks like, et cetera, et cetera. And so every time I read your essays, I go through, I give you guys feedback. I take a look at it as a whole and think like, what would I give this student? What do I think they deserve? And then I hold that up against the Trident standards and say, even though I think this is a C paper, even though I probably would have given this student a C if it were in another class, if it were in a high school class and not a college class, does it match up with what a C paper looks like for a college class? And if it doesn't, then I'm not going to give you a C, because that can come back on me too. I'm the teacher, but I have bosses, and they look at your stuff and they look at your grades. And I got to do my due diligence by them. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is your sources, because I know that some of you guys are still kind of compiling some sources, trying to add some sources in. And I know that we've talked about this, and you've probably talked about it in prior English classes. If you're an AP, I know you did. Making sure that your sources are reputable. And what that means is this is not just some random person's opinion on the internet. We don't care about a random person's opinion on the internet. If we're going to use a source in an academic research paper, we definitely want to use sources that are credible to whatever we're talking about. How do we know if they're credible? Peer-reviewed sources are the best, because what that means is this thing has been written, it has been sent out to a bunch of other people who know about the subject, they've given feedback, they've approved this essay in its final form or this article, and it's something that you can use because the experts say it's good. Stuff that you would not want to use would be just like some random .com website. If it's something that anybody could have put on the internet. You don't want that. .coms, you pretty much want to stay clear of, with the exception of some newspaper sites are okay. And particularly on the, like the description, when it gives you all the topics, some of them link to a particular article or news story or something. And I wouldn't feel bad about using those sources. Oh, faculty meeting virtual today. Cool. .net is almost never even used anymore. It's better than .com, but it's not good. .edu, .gov, those are both good. .org, it's all right. If you can avoid it, if you find better sources, I would. What I would really do, which is what most of you have been doing and is the right thing, is to use Trident Text databases. Everything you're going to find on there is usable. So just keep that in mind. As far as the variety of mediums, I just wanted to clarify that doesn't mean that you have to use 4 different things. You don't have to use like a video, a book, an article, a newspaper article, like a journal article and then a newspaper article. You don't have to use 4 different ones. You just don't want to use only one, just because you can get different perspectives, different types of research. And that's really helpful. It makes you look more sophisticated, like a more sophisticated writer. Okay. The last thing that I was going to talk to you guys about, and I will certainly like take any questions that you guys have that would be for the good of the group. But I posted on D2L just a few minutes ago a link to a YouTube video, which is me going through a presentation on introductions, conclusions, and thesis statements. And if you feel really solid about all of your things, like if you are far along on your essay and you're like, yeah, I think this is good, my thesis is strong, I'm starting with a hook, I'm feeling good about all of it, then, you know, more power to you. You don't feel like you have to watch this. But if you're like, oh, I'm struggling, I'm not sure if this introduction is good, I don't know how to wrap up, it might be helpful to watch this thing. It's like 20 minutes. And if you're in AP last year, then we went through this at the time, but it's been like a year. So it's just a good presentation that kind of shows you how to structure your intro and thesis and conclusion. So that's helpful. And I posted that in the announcement section. There's a link to it. So if you think that'll be helpful, certainly watch it. So any questions for the good of the group? Things that you're struggling with that you think others might be as well? Nope. Okay. Well, you have plenty of time left. You have a whole half hour and 3 minutes, 33 minutes left to work. And I just want you guys to work on your essays. Like I said, most of our classes this week will be just working on our essays. But the closer we get to Thursday, the less time we actually have to accomplish anything. So let's try to get some stuff done while we can. I'm going to go ahead and shut off my video and mute myself. You guys are totally free to leave and work independently if that's how you would work better. If you want to stay in case you have questions for me, absolutely fine too. Just let me know.